What's happening, financial coaches? It's Pete here. Hey, one of the things that I've been talking to people with a lot lately is conversations around why they aren't getting the business that they want or need. Does that make sense? So people aren't getting clients, people aren't getting sales, people are sometimes working with beta clients, free clients, but they're having trouble converting them into paying clients. Sometimes when they get to that threshold, hey, your free sessions are up, they stop working with you. There can be all sorts of reasons for this, but from what I've heard, and I've been trying to get some people on here to interview to kind of share some of their stories. I will tell you, it's tough to get people on that have, let's call it, objectively failed at this business to share their insights and thoughts about why they weren't able to make this succeed. And I get it. No one's asking me why I didn't succeed at ballroom dancing. Guess I've never tried it as one, but if you didn't do something, it's kind of hard to put yourself out there. So I get it. But I have been talking to some people who have given up on financial coaching, and there are a lot of them. If that's you, if you're someone who's watching that and wouldn't mind kind of putting yourself in a little bit of a vulnerable position for the benefit of others and kind of sharing some of your thoughts and your experiences and your lessons learned as an open book, I would love to have you. Love to have you on here. Just reach out to me. But the most regretted attribute that I have identified from people, and some people explicitly say this, is having sales skills. That they went into financial coaching without particularly having any sales ability, kind of any training, any experience in it. And that was the thing that they most regretted because ultimately, when they looked back, it wasn't any of these other things. It wasn't the logo, it wasn't the handout, it wasn't their course material, it wasn't their processes, it wasn't their assessments, any of that. The thing that they put their finger on is not necessarily being prepared to do the sales. Now, this is a very, very broad topic. How do you do sales? How do you get sales experience and all these other things? I want to just break it down to some one thought really that I have because when you think about sales, you think about pushy salespeople. You probably think about the used car salesman or something like that, right? Someone who's pushing it. And, unfortunately, that is sales, right? Sales are about working with a person to convince them of why your product or service is appropriate for them. Marketing is kind of casting wide the information, right? Marketing is getting people aware of your product and service. Sales is taking that at a micro level and trying to explain why it's appropriate for a single person, right? So this is a one-on-one relationship. It's very specific and it's customized, and you actually have to push. You have to try to find the reason why either your product or service fits those people. So sales pushes, it convinces, and a lot of people don't want to do that, and it's a really hard thing to marry up to people who have this mindset of coaching. And the reason is, I think, because when we, and I'm no different than this too, right? I don't necessarily want to push people to do something. I want to educate them and have them say, excuse me, yes, that's brilliant. That's exactly, it's perfect for me. I want to do that, right? That's easy. But sometimes we have to push people, and sometimes if they're not doing the right thing, sometimes if they are, like I said, in the past about avoiding paying their taxes or running up debt without telling their spouse or whatever it might be, right? Sometimes we have to push some of these people to do some of these things, and so there will be times in coaching where you will be pushing people to their comfort level or beyond, and that sometimes is going to be a very sales experience within the coaching session. And then when you're trying to get prospects on, you may be pushing people beyond their comfort level and yours, right? You may be trying to convince them that they should be using, because you see it, you see that they could benefit immensely from just maybe one or even two sessions with you. And so you're convinced of that. And but if you just say, hey, I think you'll really benefit from sitting down with me for an hour, that's not really convincing to them. You just be like, listen, I have talked to a lot of people, I've worked with a lot of people, and I have never seen anyone kind of more primed, ready, and positioned to take value from what I'm doing than you. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be sleazy, but you do have to figure out what is the appropriate level of proactiveness that you are going to take in those kinds of engagements. And what I would say here is that if you're worried about that or if you're struggling with it, I might put a pause on your financial coaching right now and do this. Like I said, I'm going to boil it down to one thing. I would probably jump online. There's going to be any number of them. They're probably in your areas that can be MLMs or a store or a small business or whatever, But every organization at some level has sales, whether it is a nonprofit trying to fundraise and you have to tell them what the nonprofit does and convince people to donate money. That's a sale. Sometimes it is working in a store and showing people cell phones and, hey, what are you looking for? Bigger screen so that you can have bigger text. Yeah, check out these. These are oversized phablets, right? Or in a car dealership, car sales. I think of we have some independents here, independent cars, lots here, dealerships, those types of things. People walk in and say, "Hey, what kind of car are you looking for? Or what brings you in today?" And all those things, right? Those are obviously direct sales. You can also do door to door. You can sell cable television packages. I've had my door knocked on a few times to have me switch over to a different internet provider. I've been on the street where people are handing out flyers, right? So whatever it is, there are a lot of people that are looking for sales. You can have obviously a more office-based job that's professional, maybe behind a computer, maybe behind a phone. You can have right frontline things. I don't really care what it is, but what I think is if you can find something that you can really believe in, it's a product maybe around your house that you just love. Maybe you have a certain type of pan that you like cooking with, right? You could reach out to that company and see what you can do to be a representative for them. Maybe you go to a gym that you love and you love that gym. Maybe you could talk to someone about working there on the weekends to sign people up, become a membership consultant on those. But whatever it is, if you can get yourself into a sales role only so that you don't have to provide the service, you don't have to worry about that, the customer support, the billing, all that. Just put yourself in the role so that your responsibilities are only sales and learn what that's like. Get more interaction. One of the reasons that I think financial coaches don't really hone that skill that much is often, especially when we're working at home, we just don't get enough interactions. Maybe we meet with 10, 15, 20 people. You know, um, I, when I worked, started in financial coaching, we had a gal that her goal was to connect or make aware of her services with 1,000 people a week, you know, and from that, you will start getting the numbers game working. But if you're only working with 10, maybe all 10 of those don't need your services. If you work with 1,000, maybe none of them need your services. But on the averages are going to be much closer on those. So out of 1,000, you might find 10 that are interested in, or 100 that are interested in, and you are more likely to find that one person or the 10 people or the 100 people that convert into clients. So you want to increase those numbers. You want to feed the top of that funnel, and putting yourself in a role where it's just sales. So let's say you go to a fitness club and they're doing marketing and they're doing advertising and they're putting flyers on cars, and those people are coming in and now they're talking to you about, why should I join, what are the membership costs, what do I get for that, and you're just doing the sales piece of it. I think that's going to help sharpen the edge for you on what it takes to have that conversation. How much offering up of details do you do as opposed to listening? How are you kind of determining what their needs and their wants are on this, and how are you kind of crafting and balancing that presentation into what's valuable for this person and what's valuable for this person, right? Every sales pitch is not going to be exactly the same. Maybe you want to be a leasing agent for a building. It doesn't really matter to me. What I want is something that's not just something that you feel as a sales role. I would love it for it to be something that you really believe in, that you want to do. And to be really honest, if you do this and you're good at it and you're making money at it, maybe that's the right role for you. Maybe that's the job freedom that you're looking for, the job flexibility that you're looking for. It doesn't necessarily have to be financial coaching, but if you can master that, if you can get comfortable with that, if you can get comfortable with those interactions and realize that when people are asking you about these things and you are engaging, what I call a buying sign, when people are giving you those signals that they are interested, they're not just kicking the tires, that you can see those and help connect the dots for people so that they can get to a purchasing decision. Then I think you will be able to take those skills back to your business as a financial coach and be even more effective at it. So as opposed to trying to figure out how sales work and the techniques and all of those, I think it's a lot easier to go to a company. They probably have some training. They probably have someone who mentor you. They'll probably have someone that you can just shadow and watch, right? You can get that experience. And those types of skills are usually going to be transferable and translatable to just about everything else that you do, whether it's working in an office and trying to convince people that your strategic plan is better or that your marketing campaign is better or whatever it is, right? So I think that these are good skills overall. And again, it's the most regretted quality of all the people that I've talked to who have bailed on this business is the lack of getting sales skills prior to trying to start their business. So hopefully that helps. If you want to talk more about sales, I would love to. So we'll see you later.